My name is Letiticia Bourke, and this is my recorded presentation for Assessment 1 KPB220. In this presentation, I'll be looking at the screen text of Andrew Moore's 2019 short documentary, Take Me to Prom. By examining the text of Moore's film, I will determine how Take Me to Prom conforms with the reflexive mode, while leaning on some techniques from the expository mode, to create a narrative of social progress. The film's content is centered on 7 people from the LGBTQ community, talking about their identity and how that impacted their experience of attending prom. Each story has its own narrative, but together they make up a historical account that starts around the 1950s. From there, he interviewed 70 people and chose 7 that fit together and covers the diverse demographic within the community. It is obvious that from this that Moore already had an idea of the story he wanted to tell. Moore also stated that his intention for the film was to show the social change that happened over a lifetime, giving the film its message. The set shots, polished soundtracks, costumes, editing of overlay, and archival footage create a glittery prom-themed mise-en-scene. This promotes and progresses the timeline of the narrative. While this technique supports the expository mode, his use of pressing questions and symbolic use of images demonstrates manipulation of film. This places it higher on the reflexive mode scale. In previous films, Moore has used a similar style in the way that he works his camera to create mood. In Babe, I Hate to Go, he often cuts with a handheld camera from long shot to close-up. Using this editing, he's able to create an ominous feeling even when there is no people in shot. In Take Me to Prom, this camera style is still used but to invoke a different mood. Planned tripod shots and cuts on action are used to create excitement while characters in focus speak. In the example of Marcy Rogers' interview, he cuts on action, changing between long shot to mid shot and close up on the beats of her sentences. This creates excitement for the story she is telling. The audience is then helped to visualize her predicament by adding a dissolve of a toy car, the same model she is speaking of, a map, and the sound effects of a cow. Moore's expressive editing also allows him to control the narrative. This is evident in the interview with Carmen, where she finds it difficult to speak about herself in past tense, yet Moore presses asking her who she was then. Moore gives her this time to find what she needs to say and zooms in to focus on her vulnerability. This short moment is introduced with a J cut of a chair holding a discarded suit, tie, and top hat, and then moves to Carmen speaking directly to camera. Using this image, Moore symbolizes that Carmen has taken off the male clothing that made her feel so uncomfortable, a notion that she herself finds upsetting to say. The filmmaker has placed his message ahead of the way the person being interviewed is wanting to be represented. This technique is common in the reflective mode. Elisaveta Silva trusted when editing Man with a Movie Camera, the audience was intelligent enough to draw lines between individual elements of film to create a story. This use of reflexive mode allows Moore to be as creative and suggestive with the content as he feels necessary. His use of expository mode means that his historical account has more artistic and unverifiable elements. The mise-en-scene invoked by Moore shows the LGBTQ community in a positive light. His choice to make the film a promotional video is clear, but means that the viewer is only seeing what he has deemed as relevant. Moore's bias is shown through symbolism and non-synced sound, ensuring he makes a story that moves chronologically and shows the community, while still having struggles, as being able to find acceptance in current society. Thank you.